Hey everybody, my name is Scott and I want to welcome you all to my channel of how I do what I do. Today I'm in the back shop and I went to turn on the air compressor and it just doesn't work. I'm not sure what's causing this problem. It's either electrical or it's mechanical. It's either this mechanical switch or I'm not getting power or it's the electric motor. I'm not sure what's causing the problem, but we're going to go ahead and we'll diagnose out all three parts and see if we can figure out what is causing the problem and how we can get this air compressor up and running. I'll also leave down in the description any of the tools I use as well as the parts that I use to fix this particular item. So with that, I'm going to get into the video, and the first thing I'm going to show you is the tools needed to fix this project. Okay, before we get into the video, I figured I would show you the tools that you're going to need for this job. You're going to need a multimeter. That way you can test if you've got electric before and after the switch, and you can test just to make sure that you got voltage coming in. You're going to need a set of crimpers. You'll need a couple different sets of wire cutters. I'm not sure what I'm going to need, but I just brought both. I got 2 crescent wrenches. I got a vice grips. I've got 2 Phillips, a small and a medium. I've got a common screwdriver, a 9/16 and a 1/2 inch. So with that, let's get into the video and I'll show you how I do what I do. Okay, I figure I'll give you a rundown of what's going on with this air compressor. My electric comes in right here. Over on the other side of the shop, behind this wall, the electric comes all the way across through a 30 amp breaker. Comes to here, comes through here. These 2 wires up on top are the hot ones that go in. We're gonna unplug this, that way I don't get any kind of electric shock. So, the wires come in here, they go through the mechanical switch, and then, oh, check that out. We got an exposed wire here. We got an exposed wire there. This particular wire goes off to the electric motor. Well, that could be one of my problems. I don't know, but we're gonna have to fix that. Anyways, this is a mechanical switch. So this is a 220 air compressor, but it only runs on 30 amps. So you got your 2 hot wires, and then you've got your green ground. And that's pretty much all you need. So let's go ahead and let's first find out, do we have power coming in? And I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back and plug in our cord. If you look on the bottom, they're all straight except for one. One has a little kink on it. It's this one right here that has the kink on it. And then if you go up to the plug itself, there's where the little kink. It's got like a little notch cut out, so you stick that in there just like so, and then you twist it and that keeps it from pulling out. Oh, I didn't get it. There we go. Okay, so now I know that this is hooked up, so let's check to see if we got power coming to these 2 leads. Okay, whenever you're checking a switch like this that's mechanical, that has wires come in, you want to use what's called a multimeter. Now up here we got amps and we got volts. That is for AC. We got this as DC. If you go down here, you got a continuity tester, and then like at the bottom you can test for sound, just to, you can see if you got an open or closed circuit. So pretty simple. So anyways, for this particular operation, we want to find out if we got 230 to 240 volts. So we're gonna put it on volts. And it says a VAC down here. That tells you we're looking for volts. Okay, now let's see if I can set this in such a way that you guys can see it and watch me all at the same. Okay, I've set up the multimeter back here. Now I'm gonna test these 2 hot wires coming in. You got one right here, and then you got the white one over there. It should be 110 on each one. So I can go ahead and ground it right here. Let's hit it right there. And I got 121. Okay, we'll go to the other side. I got 119.3, 118, 119, 120. So let's check both at the same time. Go right here, right there. I got 240.8. So I do have power going to the switch. So I have a feeling the problem is with the switch and not with my power coming in. Those birds, I wish they'd go away. Now since I have these open wires, I should be able to come over here, touch that. Yeah, I don't have anything. Let's go down here. Come underneath. Yeah, I'm not getting anything. So let's check the switch out itself. Okay, up on top right here, you got this little white round piece right here. This is what, when you're working, when you turn the switch off and on, this is what is turning the actual mechanism off and on. So I'm going to turn this with a pair of pliers and see if I can get it to go off and on. Well, I think I found the problem. This piece right here, this white piece right here, it's broke, because I can spin it back and forth, and yeah, see, I can hear it click, but it's actually not turning it. So I'm going to pull these wires off now. I'm going to hook them together, and then I'm going to plug it back in, and I'm going to see if I can get the electric motor to work. And that'll tell me that it could be the switch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug this, pull that out, and I'll stick that right there. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to undo all this from here. And that's all you're going to need to do that. You just need a Phillips. A little bit bigger one. Pull that piece out. Pull that piece out. Okay, pull this piece, pull this piece. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the white one and the white one and put those two together, just like that. I'll take the black and the black, and I'll put it together just like that. I'll make sure they're not touching anything. So they're not touching anything. Now, the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back over here. I'm just going to plug it in. And basically what I've done is just bypass the switch. Well, as you can tell, I can hear it pumping. So that tells me that this switch is junk. So let's go ahead and replace it. Okay, I've already taken these two wires off because I use those for to hook it up to the motor. You got to pull your ground off, which is nothing more than a Phillips. So, and don't lose the screw. And so that's all you got. It's a Phillips screw right there. Just pull that out. Set that aside. Over on the other side, take that off. Here again, pull the screw out. Set that. You got just these three wires. Now, since I do have this exposed black wire, that exposed white wire, I'm going to go ahead and cut this, strip it back, and I'm going to put a new end on it. And that way I don't have to deal with that anymore. Okay. We'll go ahead and we'll take the pressure gauge off. For the pressure gauge, you are going to need a 9/16 wrench. And that's all you're going to do is just turn that. Just like that. Okay, so we got this off. Okay, now that we got all the air off that, this is called a check valve. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull the check valve off. I could have swore, there we go. Could have swore it was a 9/16. We'll go ahead and pull that off. Pretty simple. And then when we put it back on, we'll put Teflon tape on this and on this piece when we put them in. Okay, next thing you got to do, on the bottom, down here, this black hose that's up here, you can see it right here, you got this black hose goes around and it goes into the bottom of this. That's how it tells how much pressure and when to shut off the switch. So with this, you just, there's a blue piece, you just pull it, you push it, and this piece comes out. It basically, as you push it, it just crimps down. So it's down at the bottom. When I take this off, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, with this, that's all you gotta do is, don't really want to ruin it. Okay, there we go. Whoop. I'm always dropping something. Old valve. We definitely need the front part for the check valve. We need this over here for where the gauge is going to go. On the bottom, this is your air in, and we need the back one plugged. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other one. Okay, I now have the new one. This will be where the check valve goes. This is where my gauge goes. I've already plugged the back. and then this is where the bottom screws to here. So I'll go ahead and put some Teflon tape on here and start putting it back together. Whenever you're putting something like this together, you definitely want to do a good job with the Teflon tape. What Teflon tape does is it takes up all the little nooks and crannies, and it makes it so where it threads on just a little bit easier. This tape has like a wax, but it also keeps it from leaking. I always tend to overkill with the Teflon tape. I've learned my lesson in the past. I'd find that this stuff just works good. So I use this. You're supposed to use Teflon tape on air, on water, any kind of threaded object. So just don't be skimpy with the tape. It's cheap. So that's all you do. There, done. Also, when you're doing this, go clockwise as you're looking down on it, because that's the way it's going to thread down. So we're going to take our new one. This is the one we plugged. This is the one just going to set it down and just kind of roll it around there real gentle until it threads, and you'll feel it start to thread, and then you just go around. Man, boy, that get tight. Get my crescent wrench. I'm probably going to go around one more time. With the wrench, it's not too bad. Ow, that does get tight. Oh! Okay, we'll go just a little bit more so that lines up right. Can't get the wrench in there. Okay. Not bad. And we're going to stop right there, just like that. We'll take our line right here and make sure it's nice and round so that we get a good seal. We'll take this, whoop. Now that we have this in place, we'll hook up our air line underneath, and that you just push into place. Nothing to it. Okay, now we'll go ahead and put on our check valve and our gauge. Okay, I've put Teflon tape on the gauge itself and start turning that, get that threaded, and then you'll need a 9/16 wrench for that. Maybe go around one more time. Almost. Come on. And we'll put it so that it's just right about there, just like that. We'll go ahead and we'll put our check valve in. There again, I put Teflon tape on the check valve. And this is a 9/16 also. So as you can tell, this does not take that much time to do. It's more so a pain in the butt to figure out what's causing your problem more than anything. Okay, maybe another quarter of a turn. Just like so. Okay, that's done. Okay. Now let's go ahead and we'll put on our wires for the, this part goes on first. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these wires, and then I'll put on the new ones. Okay, so what I'm using is just couple butt connectors that'll just slide right on up there, just like that, and I'll go ahead and cut the wire. Cutting the wire, it's no big deal. I'm going to cut right about where the what do you call it, the scrape was, where it kind of wore it off. I'll cut them about the same length, just like so. As you can see, I just cut them so they're even, and you'll put that right about there and there. Just kind of strip them back. These are just cheap wire strippers. Ah, come on. Okay, once you got that done, what you're going to do is get that out of the way. Take your wires, spin them around, because you got to get them inside of a hole. Okay. Go ahead and you take this one just like that. You're going to slide this in, and you can actually see it as you're looking at it. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you can actually see it sliding in. Once you get it there, you're going to crimp right in between my fingers right there. So go ahead and take the crimper, and that's all you're going to do is pinch it. Nothing else, just like that. Go ahead and do the other one, and take it. And you always go clockwise, because that's the way I did it when I started. I spun these clockwise. I want to make sure that the little rubber, the little seal gets in there. And that'll get you a good connection, just like so. Okay, and then just crimp it. Okay, that's done. Now let's go ahead and wire it. So first things first, over here is a keeper. You can kind of see it right here. This holds the wires in place as they come up. They come up through the bottom and they hold right there. We're going to take that off. So let's set the tripod right there. Pull the keeper off first. Pull that all the way out. Right like that. Oh, I'm always dropping things. Hold it, put that aside. And then what we're going to do is pull the screw out for the grounds. Like so. Okay, let me show you where you got one ground that goes here, the other ground goes here. The wires that go to the electric motor come around, they come up this side, and the black and white plug here, and the ground goes here. Over here, you'll put the other ground, and we're going to actually pull these two out because the other wires slide in, and then we screw those down. So I'll show you how I go about doing that. Okay, I'll go ahead and show you how I do this. Drop my screw into where the ground wire goes. Drop that into the hole. Put that one right there. And tighten it down. Pull this over here. And then I'll put, let's see. Put the white right there. I'll put the black right there, just like that. And then that wire can go right there, just like that. Okay. Now, I do not need these two because I've got a different connection on my supply wire, so we'll pull these out. And you see, these just come out. So you can actually change all different kinds of stuff. Come on. See, these just actually go in there just like so. So you can pull these out. And you save these because you never know, you might need it for some other job. Okay, we've now gone ahead and removed both of these. So, and the reason why is because this can be a slide in, just like this one right here. You could take that, you could slide it in like that. Okay, well that's just the type of connection that's there. Now this one has this, which is the same as this end. So you could just slide that right in there, just like so. You slide this one in there, just like so, and then you just tighten down the two screws, and it's the same thing. Okay, just like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and put on the end cap and I'll show you what goes on there. Okay, the last thing you got to do is put on this. What it does is it holds these in place. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. So what I'm doing is holding it in place, and you just tighten it down. Once you got it there, that's pretty much all it takes. And then it holds your supply wire all the way up to here. Then it holds the wire that goes off to the electric motor over there. So let's go take a recap and I'll show you what I've done. Okay, here's my power cord. My power cord goes like that, comes around here, goes like this. I've got it cinched off right here. You got one line here, and if you read up on top, right there, and right there it says line, and then my ground is behind, hooked there. Got the black wire, then underneath you got this black wire and that black wire. They come around and they go down this way and they go off to the electric motor. The grounds are set. Everything should be on. Let's go ahead and plug it in and see what happens. and then I'll put the cap on. Well, it looks like everything's working good. We're gonna go ahead and unplug it, and then we'll put the cap back on. Okay, before I put the cap back on, I figured I'd give you guys a couple of things. This right here, it's got a Phillips head where you can use a screwdriver. If you go clockwise, it increases the pressure. If you go counterclockwise, it decreases the pressure. Now this right here is what turns off and on. That's where your switch sits. It actually goes over the top of that. You turn it one way, it goes off. Turn it the other way, it goes on. Okay, let me show you how this switch works. When you turn this up here, it pushes down on this little silver thing and pushes that spring down. So as you add more pressure, it allows you to increase the total pressure in your air compressor. Consequently, if you turn it counterclockwise, the spring comes up and it doesn't put as much pressure, and there again your air compressor does not come up to a higher pressure. This particular air compressor I think goes up to 135 max. I only need 100 to 120, and that's fine. And I think that this particular regulator is set at 125. So we're going to go ahead and put the cap back on it, and I'll show you how I do that, and then I'll stop the video, I'll air it up, and I'll show you how high it gets. Okay, to do this last part, I always push the screw all the way in so that it stays like this. It stays out just enough so that I can screw it in there. I turn this so that you can feel the two flat pieces. Flat piece here, flat piece here. It's rounded on the ends. And then I turn that just so it's on auto, okay? Then you gotta wiggle it, and you just gotta keep wiggling it until you get it to go down where it's supposed to. And it'll actually sink right into place when you've got it in the right spot. There it goes. This is not hard. This will take you a couple times. I've had to do it before, so I pretty much do know what I'm doing here because I've had to wire a couple different ones. Right now it's on auto. If I go to turn it to off, it'll clip. Now it's off, now it's on. Off, on. Okay, we're going to turn it off. We're going to go ahead and plug it in, and then we're going to turn it to on and let it air up. I'm only going to let it air up for a couple seconds. Okay, we've got it plugged in. I'm just going to run it up to, you know, right now it's on 25. It's probably because of the heat outside. That's all there is to it. It's going up pretty quick. I'm going to go ahead and shut the video off, and when it gets all the way to the top, I'll resume the video. Well, what I need to do is take this off, because what's happening is this pop-off valve, I guess it's a 100 psi pop-off valve, and my pressure will go up a whole lot higher right now than where it's at. So just by turning this counterclockwise, it'll give it less pressure, so it'll shut off. Okay, there's where it's set right there. So if I'll go just a little bit more. I'll let some air out. Start off here pretty good. Okay, it started up right at about 60 pounds. It should shut off right around 100. I know this is kind of boring, but I figured I'd show you guys how you adjust this and make it work properly. Okay, it's set right around 90. I can go a little higher. Actually, 90 will be fine for what I'm doing. I don't have anything that needs more than that. So that's all there is to it. We put this back in the middle again, right where it needs to be. Put this back just like so. And screw that down just like that. That shuts it off. Now it's on auto. I don't need it for right now, so I'm going to turn it off. So, not bad. That's how you do it. It shouldn't be that hard. I think anybody, if you watch my videos, you'll be able to figure out how I did this. As you can see, it wasn't that hard to fix it. I find it funny that the last two videos I've done, this one and the one on the evaporative coolers, it turned out to be the switch that was actually causing the problem. And then it just needed a little bit of general maintenance, like cutting off those clips so I can get a little bit better connection with the wires, just like cleaning out all the water lines so that I've got good water flow so that my swamp cooler's working. It's nice and cold in my shop. Everything needs maintenance, one way or another. By watching my videos, I hope that you are able to fix things at your house, your cabin, or castle. And with that, my name is Scott. I thank you for turning into my channel, How I Do What I Do, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great day, everybody.